So I think we should get into development.
All right.
So,
go ahead.
Development, like many of the games in the series, Yuji Horii wrote the story, Akira Toriyama did the artwork, and Koichi Sugiyama composed the music. Co-creator Koichi Nakamura, Chunsoft's president, directed the game and did half of the programming.
Wow.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a lot of work for one dude.
That just sounds just like the Gooch, Sega Gucci. Because he used to do
Pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything.
They only had like 7 people or something for the team for Final Fantasy 1.
I believe so. It was like 7.
Like a handful of people. It's sick.
Yeah, so it seems to be on par with early like NES and RPG titles. Is very small teams working on them.
Yeah.
And it probably makes a better RPG, but that's my opinion. Planning for Dragon Quest II began in April 1986, a month before the release of the original Dragon Quest.
Wait, a month before the release?
Yeah, a month before the release.
Wow. They were pretty sure that Dragon Quest was going to sell then, huh?
Yeah. They seemed to have quite a bit of rollout. And when the rollout didn't happen, what happened, right?
Yeah,
they throw it in Nintendo Power to make sure the cells get generated.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad story for such a great game.
Well, most
2 or 1?
For 1.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that.
Most game companies like to do that now. And I don't. I don't like that practice at all.
You don't like
because
giving
the game
away
could be utter shit. No. I don't like that they start development on multiple titles of a game
okay.
beforehand.
I gotcha. I thought you meant like putting it in Nintendo Power. I was like,
oh no, that's phenomenal. Props to anybody who got that thing at a cheaper price at the time.
Yeah.
With that full 80-page guide. Jeez, that's awesome. No, props to them. Okay, let's see here. With the system and memory map decided, they started development in early July. The development team was divided into 2 groups, one with designing the story as well as the monsters and one doing the programming. The game was released on January 26, 1987, still before Final Fantasy.
I know, they had 2 games before Final Fantasy. It's kind of sad.
Yep. So what do you guys think of the 2 groups?
For 2 groups for the first game and the second game, or what?
No, the 2 groups that were working on Dragon Quest II. One end was doing this, one was doing that. It didn't seem like they were conjoining together.
Talking to each other?
Well, they could have been talking, but it's kind of good if it's all under the same umbrella. But this doesn't seem like it was.
I don't know. Like, it seems like a bad thing, especially since, like, we'll probably get into it a little later, but I had this slight complaint for the first game where like there were quite a few monsters that like looked the same, or just like recolored.
Oh yeah, that carried over for sure.
But yeah, this one was way worse for that.
Yeah,
way worse. Like there's even, I think we counted last time, there's like 6 or 7 monsters that basically had the robes and the bat symbol like sitting in the middle of their chest.
Yeah.
Like just the same design for like 6 different monsters, and it wasn't even a recolor. It was just like the same thing. It's kind of, I don't know, that kind of speaks to me now that you mentioned that they're like, they're going to be separate here.
Right. All right, that's for design, but just teasing. The developers believed that Dragon Quest 1v1 combat system was tedious and too simple, and that the leveling system was boring. So they decided to have Dragon Quest II use a party system with players controlling multiple characters. In another,
it's a good decision.
Yeah,
but wrong about the first game.
Right. In another game from the time entitled Wizardry, again, we're bringing that up again, players can control a party of up to 6 characters directly. Nakamura saw this, liked the idea, and wanted to do something similar.
So he made 3.
Yeah.
3 characters.
Like, I'm going to take each part of Wizardry here and put it into each game. Like, I like this, let's do it in Dragon Quest 1. I like this, let's do it in Dragon Quest 2.
Wizardry is a huge influence, so...
Exactly. Yeah.
I could see that.
So why not? Due to technical restrictions, they decided to use only 3 characters. Hori believed many players would play Dragon Quest II without first playing Dragon Quest.
Even though they made it a sequel, sort of.
It is.
That would be unfortunate for those people.
Well, we'll get into that in this story, but it really doesn't matter that much.
That's true,
Kinda
but
does.
A
Like,
small
they
nostalgia
are connected.
event, but
yeah, some stuff carries over.
it's not nothing that you wouldn't like miss out per se.
Story-wise, yeah.
that's true.
Right. All right. Dragon Quest II without playing Dragon Quest I, and thus had players search for the other party members. Nakamura has stated that the Cave of Roan found in the game is inspired by the classic track to exit mazes that had always move forward while sticking to the right-hand side wall to avoid the fucking traps.
That's true. I always did that.
Screw that cave.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
God, no! I want to get it out right now. Those traps to fall to the entire body. All right. In the story group, monsters were the first thing designed. The monsters' names, skills, and personalities were decided first, after which they were drawn by Toriyama. Hori allowed Toriyama to paint full drawings rather than direct create the pixel art that would be shown in the game. Which is cool, but I don't see it applying to the game. That's weird. Unless we have it on like box artwork, which I don't think we end up getting localized here anyway.
No, we have completely different artwork that looks nothing like the game.
Right. So if that kind of stuff shows up in the booklet or on the cover of the game, cool. But it's still kind of a game. So to have him go these huge art things is cool to me, but it doesn't get to show itself in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
And it doesn't take till like later on in video game history to be able to showcase that a lot more.
Yeah, but they release side stuff like guides and whatnot that can use the artwork.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we have art books for now.
Well,
But
yeah,
back
that's
then-
usually part of it.
The artwork was then converted into computer graphics. As Toriyama was unfamiliar with computer graphics technology, no shit, he's a... like, of course he isn't. He's an artist, man.
He's a manga artist.
Respect the art form. Other staff took charge of this. Many new monsters needed to be designed to make the game feel real.
Real.
Yes.
New monsters?
Yeah. I know.
I honestly don't know if that's Toriyama's fault or the people who like made the characters beforehand. It's like they just like. I mean, he draws the characters, but then the creatures, but then they also like say what they want it to look like, sort of.
And he also said like they had to make more monsters, so maybe they had to fill in the gaps
More
there.
than half of the monsters are the same. And there are some new monsters, but a lot of them are the same monster just 3 times.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He did say that the process was laborious, but he has also said that compared to the manga comics he was used to, he enjoyed painting more. So on balance, the experience was quite positive. He said that it was able to showcase a lot more detail in the artwork because it didn't have to be drawn again and again and again.
Yeah, I remember
animated.
him saying that, yeah.
Yeah. Hori stated that for his process, like other manga and film creators, he quickly outlines the story's plot in his mind. With regard to map design, a blank map was used to create the physical shape of the place, like a castle, cave, or tower, and then the key elements and story were created together afterwards. The scenarios were mainly written by his friend Horishi Miyoka. Don't know who that is.
He's the guy who wrote the scenarios.
I guess so. Yeah. Good insight there.
Yeah,
Koichi
what he's here
Nakamura
that's right.
programmed with several students, but since it was his first time working with a team, he didn't know how to delegate work or communicate his goals, which shows in the final product.
Yeah.
Since his students were unfamiliar with the coding process, they did not know how to debug or keep track of whose code it came from. So Nakamura had to do it himself, which caused delays.
Oh.
In programming, they did the maps first. Then they worked on characters, including numbered characters and maps for assigned lines, and designed the NPC's moving route. The next step was programming the items, while the final step was setting the monsters' data and converting Toriyama's artwork. That seems like one of the first things you do.
Yeah, it does.
Is the artwork, but okay. Due to the aforementioned balance issues, the game was initially very difficult, especially in the later stages. No complaints there. That's true.
Yeah.
Nakamura had written a program that simulated every single combat that he used to adjust the game's setting for characters leveling and the strength of enemies players would encounter. This program failed to account for larger monster groups.
Oh yeah, you mean the thing that happens constantly?
Yeah. What was this nightmare experience that you had, Craig? Like getting your ass kicked by 5 slimes?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
you
yeah.
freaking walk one step outside of the castle at the beginning, and you encounter 5 slimes, and because your health is so low, they can kill you because they do 5 damage a turn, and if you don't kill them instantly, with one hit, then you just get taken down because you only have 15 health in the beginning. So 3 turns go by and you're dead.
Weak.
You're just dead.
Yeah, that's pretty weak, Craig.
I could handle it when it was lower groups, but then you start getting the crow dudes and stuff too. It's not okay.
The crow dudes, I'll admit, were difficult, but not the slimes. Those are the weakest characters in the game. The weakest enemies.
Yeah, they're the weakest enemies, but you get 5 of them when you're level 1, literally with no equipment. I mean, you're gonna get boned.
The RNG.
Yeah, it's great. Fantastic, even.
Tremendous. The developers realized there was a balance problem and did some modifications. Just some. They didn't fix it. They just patched it, right? Such as limiting the number of enemies at Meadenhall to groups of 3 and moving the Canuck Castle closer to Meadenhall Castle. Did you only have 3, Dylan?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I feel like there were more than 3.
Okay. We forgot to discuss this. What version did each of us play?
I played the mobile version on Google Play.
Mobile as well.
And I suffered through the NES version.
OG.
The
Okay.
NES? Oh, yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah, I did.
You decided to switch to the Game Boy one for the
3.
next one.
Yeah. I don't regret that decision.
It's probably the best decision you could have made outside of switching to mobile.
Yeah. Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Due to a lack of cartridge space, many ideas were abandoned during development, such as an alternate ending. Oh, spoilers already.
Oh, man.
That the Larissa prince is killed by the Prince of Connacht's sister if he dies in the final battle. Some elements were later used in remakes or sequels. A subplot about the Prince of Connacht being cursed was added to the Super Famicom remake and later remakes. So probably the Game Boy version has it.
Yeah, I didn't play that one, though.
Yeah.
So I missed that.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It happens.
It's
didn't
not
really
like
need
an
it.
entirely different game.
Yeah.
It's extra content.
Yep. The game's cartridge ROM capacity is 1 megabyte, but only about 10 bytes of free space remained in the final product. I don't know if that's really good or bad compression. I don't know. But
Who knows?
it seems like a lot of stuff just for an NES game. So I'll give it that.
There
quite
was a
bit.
lot.
I've seen it on NES.
There's a few good things about the game.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Just a few. The North American release of the game is Dragon Warrior 2, was created by Enix themselves and published in '90. The storyline introduction in Monbrook is presented exclusively in Dragon Warrior 2. We get exclusive, wow. In the Japanese original, the game starts right off with the injured soldier from Monbrook. Jeez, it's Moonbrook, Jacob. Entering Meadenhall Castle, seeking help from its king. Like Dragon Warrior, the American version of Dragon Warrior 2 was censored in some aspects. For example, it used a ghost-like sprite instead of the original defeated character's coffin with a cross.
Wow. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know why they did that, because they also censored Final Fantasy with that stuff.
Yeah, the crosses are
the
completely...
churches,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't think it's a big deal.
I don't think it is either, but
it's the I can't even say this right now. The Evangelials. They're like these groups like, no crosses.
Yeah, they protest the game.
Dude, they do.
They do.
Freaking Pokemon came under fire because of evolution.
Westminster's Baptist Church.
Yeah,
yes,
dude.
those people.
So
those
stupid.
Horrible people. So I like that we get a little bit different here because it makes a lot more sense into what's going on at the beginning. Instead of just being dropped off in front of the king again, we actually...
Oh, hi there. I hope you enjoyed this clip from Puff Puff Hour, a Dragon Quest podcast. If you happen to like what you see, you should subscribe. We have full podcast episodes detailing the main series of Dragon Quest 1 through 11. Oh yeah, and if you like the content, you should check out our other shows from All Out Geekdom Entertainment. We have Nude Clan and Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. Or, Dragon Quest.